What's going on, YouTube? We got more iRacing content for this week. It's going to be Season 4, Week 6, and we're going to be back in the Formula 4 car, the Ray FF1600. This time, we're going to be taking it around Rudskogen Motersenter. I've raced this track a fair amount in the past on multiple different series. I know it can be a really fun track with a lot of good opportunities to overtake. Turn 3, Turn 1, Turn 10, all great opportunities to overtake and have some good racing. That being said, I know it can be a very tricky track as well, especially Turn 3, especially on cold tires on lap 1, so I know things get a little bit interesting, but despite all that, my experience maybe with the car and with the track, I was having a lot of fun and a lot of really good races this night. I'm not going to go too much detail of that. I talked about it in my Quali lap, so let's get right into Quali and see how I was doing on the night and see what we can make of this race. Don't get me wrong, my first race was absolutely great. I had a great qualifying my first one. I sat on pole for a little bit and then got knocked off and started P2, which was good. But I didn't have a good, I stalled to start, fell back in the pack, settled out a little bit, and then spun into turn 3 a couple laps later, and smashed into someone and ended my race, and just lost a couple controls, a little more like, well, actually, because I smashed my car up and didn't immediately tow, I got myself way more incident points than I needed to. But the pace was definitely there, even when I got back on track and was like not really, shouldn't have been pushing, but still. But then the next race after that, I was able to once again stick it on P2 for the start of that race and was able to win it. Last race, P3 start, and then finished P3. There's some battling back, but I've been doing good, just not really a lot of interesting racing going on. Just a couple things happened, and then I'm off by my own for a little bit, so. The lap's not voided, but I'm slow, so I'm not focused enough. Next lap I could really put on for one. It's probably going to be a 129. I cannot get that corner right.
P5, that puts you 0.8 off the pace. Sector 3 time is quick. Sector 1 time is good. You'll need to slow down to give back the time gained.
Oh, really? That's kind of devastating. Oh my god. 2 seconds, that is? My past races, I've kind of been wondering how close I've been getting to that track cut, because I knew that was a cut, like that corner could be a cut. I just did not know how much of it I could actually take. But that was just a slowdown. It wasn't a track cut, which is good, and I did put down one time. Funny enough, I forgot that, and that I did, and I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to be in the back of the grid now that I avoided this. Totally forgetting that I actually did put down about a lap my first lap. It was just slow. So
6th place.
I'm not sure how this grid is stacking up. It's unfortunate because, like, if I was running my fastest times, I'd be set for another P2. I'm pretty sure that second lap that I ran, that was after the first one after the checker flag, would have been a 129 or 128, and
that's the end of the session. 7th position.
That would have been good enough for P2. Now we're gonna be in the middle of the grid for my worst part, which is the start. I have not been great with getting this car off the line.
Car number 3, P7. Standing start now. All right, Rob, here we go. Green.
That was a good start for once. Off the line, I'm going to get a decent start, not the best start. It's going to be good enough to retain our position, and we're going to be able to get a little bit of a look on the inside of the 4 going into turn 1. I was a little bit too far back to want to dive in there so aggressively, especially on the first lap on cold tires. We have to do our best to survive on this first lap if we want any chance at moving up through the field and be able to fight a little bit more competitively as we go along, especially going to this next corner, as it's one of the most difficult corners on the track. So as long as we can survive the corner, we're bound to gain at least one position.
Car left. clear left.
Now that we survived one of the trickiest sections of the track on cold tires and was able to pick up one position, we're right on the back of the 2 cars ahead, so we got to stay with them, stay in the fight, and see if we're able to gain a couple more positions on this first lap. Despite Quali not going how I wanted it to go, I definitely was fast in the laps after qualified ended, and I've been having a really good night at this point with pace on this track, so I'm feeling fairly confident that I'm going to be able to pick up a couple more positions and continue to race hard, and maybe even keep fighting up through the pack. Whew. Starting lap 2, we're running in P5, and we're going to gain a little bit more insurance on that P5 as the 4 car behind is going to lose the car coming out of turn 1, which is going to clear our mirrors and allow us to focus on the cars ahead and try to move up into that fight for the podium. And as we go back into the tricky turn 3, the 11 car is going to do us a favor and make our fight for that podium just a little bit easier by losing the car mid-corner, most likely as he's coming for a downshift. And with him out of our way, we're going to be able to focus on the 8 car head and try to do our best to fight to get onto the podium.
The car in front of us is now Navarro, car number 8, D license.
Going into turn 10, the 8's going to lock up the front brakes. He's going to go a little bit wide out of the corner, and that's going to allow us to close that gap a lot more to him. So if we can get the next 4 corners right and get a good run down the front stretch, we might be able to make a move into the first corner going into the next lap. But we're going to have to put a pause on our battle as the battle up ahead for the lead boils over and sends the 10 into the wall. This battle for the lead was just out of our view and started back at turn 7 as the 7 car went a little bit wide out of the corner, giving the opportunity for the 10 to close up a lot. Going into the straight to turn 10, the 7 car is going to start with a little bit of the offensive line, then come back onto the racing line. And that 10 is going to be right on the 7 as they come out of the corner. And with a great exit out of turn 10, he's going to get a run up on the 7 car going into turn 12. And he's going to be able to send it up the inside of this 7 car, and they're going to get away with a little bit of wheel banging coming out of the corner, sending them side by side into turn 13. Unfortunately for the 10, they're not going to get away with any more wheel banging, as they may have just taken a little bit too much of a shallow line into turn 13, running just a little bit wide into the 7, banging wheels and ending up off the track, which now is going to make our battle with the 8 a battle for P2. We're going to be very close coming out of the last corner. With a little bit of help from Slipstream, we might get the chance to send it up the inside of the 8 going into turn 1 and might be able to shift our focus to fighting for the lead.
Keep it coming, man. This is great. P3. Car right. Clear right.
We're going to be just a little bit too far back to make the move stick, but my confidence is high and I feel like I can get this guy. I just got to keep digging. He shifted. Ooh. It's a little dicey on my end there. Almost lost it. coming down the front stretch to start lap 4. We're going to be a little bit too far back this time to send it into turn 1. But if we can get turn 1 good, we can set up a good run down from turn 2 to turn 3 and make the move into turn 3. We just got to get this right.
Car clear left.
Unable to get the move done into turn 3, we're still right on the 8 car, and another great opportunity is going to come up going into turn 10. We just got to keep it right there and stay within striking distance of him, and maybe we can get him. I'm fast in all the wrong places. Still just a little bit too far back going into turn 1. One of my worst corners is turn 14 coming onto the front stretch, unfortunately messing up one of the best opportunities to overtake on this track. And on top of it, I'm going to lock a little bit of my brakes coming into turn 1, which isn't going to give me the best opportunity going into turn 3. But we're still right there, so we got to still keep that pressure on the 8 and try to force him into a mistake to give us the opportunity to try to get the overtake done. And just like that, the mistake's going to come, and we're not even going to need to try to make an overtake as he's going to spin out in turn 3, which is going to move us up into P2 and have some clean track in front of us and try to eat into the lead of the 7 car ahead and maybe get into challenging for this win.
Just cut the track.
I'm pushing so hard at this point, I don't care about track limits. I'm trying to run as fast as I can and eat into that 2-second lead of the car ahead with a couple laps to go because I want my second win of the night so badly.
P2.
As the laps tick on, the gap's not coming down too much. It's looking like we're not going to be able to challenge for this lead, but in the moment that wasn't stopping me from pushing to my absolute limit, trying to get every tenth that I could on the leader, because I believed I could still get him. I'm pushing too hard, but like in a forced kind of way, not in a smooth, cool, calm, collected kind of way. I knew the pressure I was putting on myself was making me make a little bit too much mistakes and just be a little too tense with my racing and not be smooth with my inputs. Smooth is fast and fast is smooth, so we gotta keep it clean if we want to be able to keep any type of pace to be able to challenge for the lead. Oh.
You'll need to slow down to give back the time gained. Last lap, bring it on home.
As we come to the white flag, we're unfortunately not able to eat into the gap too much. We're going to have to settle for a P2 it looks like, unless the 7 car makes a mistake on the final lap. It's a little bit disappointing since I was pushing so hard and wanted to win so badly, but recovering from making the mistakes in Quali, from not being focused enough on my first lap, and my second lap just making the error going into turn 7 and getting that 2-second slowdown to invalidate that lap had me starting P7 and then being able to keep it clean, battle up through the field, making the most of other people's mistakes and not making our own mistakes on a track that it's so easy to make mistakes on. Turn 3 and turn 7 can be real struggle corners. In past races in multiple different series, I've spun going into both those corners. This night I won a race because the leader spun going into turn 7, so being able to just keep it clean and get to the line in P2 is an accomplishment in and of itself, and this is on top of an already great night of racing. As I said during my first lap of Quali, this was my 4th race. I'd already won 1. My previous race I finished in 3rd, so besides my first race of the night, which didn't have a good result for both my safety rating and my iRating, my last 2 races and then this race are going to be a great safety rating result for me. I came to this race with a 1.38 safety rating and a 1428 iRating in the formula class, so our 1 incident point in finishing in P2 is going to gain us a 0.21 safety rating boost, bringing us up to a 1.59 safety rating, and it's going to get us a plus 70 iRating change, moving us up into 1490, only 10 points away from 1500 iRating in the formula class. So while it wasn't the most exciting race, it definitely was something to celebrate.
Well done, decent drive.